Hi everybody. This video is going to be a mini rapid fire Q&A. Someone who's posted several questions for me before on some of my other videos has posted another few questions. So the first one, I just can't stop smiling about it because it's just such a funny concept to me. So anyways, I'm just going to dive right into it here. So the first question is, do I think that eggs contribute to viral illness? The person goes on to say that they've been doing the carnivore diet, reintroduced some eggs into the diet. They hadn't eaten eggs for about 3 years, and since that time found out they had Epstein-Barr virus reactivation. And they've been testing for reactivation for 3 years straight with any subsequent testing. And so she found that not eating eggs has not cured her, but some people vehemently believe that eggs contribute to viral replication. So what is my stance on that? So yeah, I've never heard that concept before. That's a really interesting one. I haven't seen any evidence one way or the other about eggs contributing. What I can say is that many of my patients eat a lot of eggs, and sometimes at my behest, because I'm asking them to get more protein into their diets and whatnot. I don't recommend the carnivore diet, across the board to my patients by any stretch, but I have recommended it to quite a few patients over the years. I've done the carnivore diet myself, hardcore, for a couple of months, and I've been eating a meat-based diet with many eggs for the last 2 years and counting. So I have not seen any issues with egg consumption being related to viral replication, and I can't really think of a mechanism through which that could happen. And I mean, I could speculate something, I suppose, but I've never seen an issue, and I'd be really surprised if there was any issue with that. So I don't personally believe that those two things are related. So thank you for the very interesting question, and I wonder where these things come from. Now, if you, the question asker, or if anybody else, has a citation, like, if there's some literature saying, oh, egg protein or albumin or something, like, contributes to viral replication, I'd love to see it, because I'm interested, and that'd be very interesting to see. But just putting on my thinking cap, I can't think of how there'd be a correlation, and nor have I seen that in my practice. Another question here about phage therapy. So lots of good questions in there, and I don't know much. I know about phage therapy, but I haven't had any patients who have done phage therapy. To my understanding, it's quite expensive. It's not something that can be easily accessed in beautiful Canada, which is where the majority of my patients are located, and I just don't really know much about it, so I will just leave it there. But I wish you the best with phage therapy, if that's something that you wind up working with. Another question, which I unfortunately am not a wealth of knowledge about either, is about a question about getting tested for histoplasmosis. I've looked for testing options for histoplasmosis and have not been able to find that. To my understanding, if memory serves, and it's been a while since I looked into this, but I think that it was something that had, like, here in Canada, we have a socialized healthcare system, and it's very different than the US healthcare system. I don't know if you're based in the States or not, but if you are, then very, very different in Canada. But my understanding is, if memory serves, that histoplasmosis has to be tested through public health, and that's kind of a different branch where we just can't access any testing for things that are kind of under the umbrella of the public health sphere, so to speak. So I don't know about how to get that testing done, and so far there's been no one. The couple of patients where we looked into, or that were interested in this, they did not have any luck because they couldn't convince their family doc to refer them for this testing. So I'm sorry, no useful information on that end either. The one other thing that I wanted to note, though, and so you asked here, can my LLMD order this test for me? So even the myriad, maybe not myriad, but even the several private labs that are out there, independent labs that are out there that test for Lyme and co-infections and this, that, and the other thing, I've never seen histoplasma on the requisition form, so I don't know that it can be done kind of outside of the system, so to speak. Could your LLMD order it for you? Maybe. You'd have to ask him or her and see what they have to say, but I'm not really sure what the rules are in the different jurisdictions, but that's my understanding of what the scoop is here in beautiful Canada. And then there was just a note here which I wanted to share, because this isn't a question, so it was only useful, hopefully useful-ish for one of those 3 questions, but there was just a statement here at the end. So the individual here was saying they Okay, let's see here. So she says, I can't get an infectious, or this is within the context of the histoplasma question. So it says, I can't get an infectious disease doctor to take me seriously. In parentheses, they think I have somatic system disorder, somatic symptom disorder, sorry. And she's wondering, can the LLMD order this test for me? Then as a side note to the infectious disease doctors out there, and I'm sure many infectious disease doctors follow me on YouTube, maybe not, but anyways, I'll maybe now it's on Instagram too, so hopefully, and I'll post this on YouTube too, actually. But anyways, I'd like to think that infectious disease doctors follow me, but I don't think so. You might want to find a different medium to get this message out there. But I appreciate the sentiment where it's coming from, which is why I wanted to read it out loud here. So she says here, to the infectious disease doctors out there, my somatic symptom disorder, I'm adding the quotes because it looks like maybe that's not what it was, turned out to actually be, according to lab results, Lyme, Bartonella, Babesia, Rickettsia, and oh my gosh, anaplasmosis, toxoplasmosis, parvovirus, CMV, which is cytomegalovirus, HHV6, and Epstein-Barr reactivation. So thank you for sharing that, and it's just a really important, I think it's a very a good thing to share that information, saying like, hey, like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but if a person's told like, hey, this is pretty much all in your head, we can't figure out what's wrong with you, so it must be all in your head, and yet there's this litany of infections that get picked up when someone who, you know, looks outside of the box, shall we say, actually looks for things, and then finds a whole bunch of things, and you know, it is not all in that person's head in this case. So yeah, so thank you for sharing that, and it's just an important thing to note. I'm sure many folks listening have been in similar situations, or are aware of folks who are in similar situations where, you know, it's like, oh, we can't find out what's wrong with you, so it must be in your head. And you know, once you dig deeper, you find that it's not all in your head. So thank you for the questions. Sorry I couldn't be more useful with some of them, but you know, again, thanks for adding some levity to the end of my day with the egg thing. That's still just, it cracks me up. Forgive the egg pun. Yeah, so if you have any further questions, please feel free to post in the comment section below. If anybody else has any questions about these topics or anything else, just post in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I can.